Hey folks, today I want to talk to you about hot work tools. When I say hot work tool, I'm referring to a tool that you use in conjunction with either a power hammer or a press to forge your blades, specifically because I'm a bladesmith, not a blacksmith, but blacksmiths use them all the time as well. There's 5 main hot work tools that I use that I wanted to recommend to you and kind of explain how I use them. So the first one is the hot cut. I made this out of a piece of leaf spring, so it's got chromium in it, and it's a pretty tough steel. I did a simple heat treat to it and welded the handle onto it. What I use this hot cut tool for is specifically for cutting, basically making a tanto out of my homogeneous steel blades as I'm forging them. So I cut that tanto shape into the tip, and then I'm able to forge the rest of the tip in, both under the power hammer and by hand. But this kind of accelerates the process of getting that tip formed. It doesn't matter as far as the integrity of the steel of the blade if you hot cut it, and it's not Damascus. So I'm not hot cutting my Damascus blades. I also use the hot cut tool if I want to cut like a billet of Damascus in half. If I'm using if I only need to use a section of the billet and I've got excess and I want to cut through it and set it aside for later. And then just cutting blades off the end of a bar is what I also use the hot cut for. But super handy. It's nice using a hot cut tool rather than having to let the piece cool off and bandsawing it or something like that. Very convenient. Next up is the large half round. So this is 3 inches in diameter. This is 4140 steel. It's a pretty high chromium steel, but it's a low carbon steel. I found that it works really well as a hot work tool, even without heat treating it. So straight from the supplier, it works really well. You can weld handles to it really easy. I mean, it welds with a welder super easy. The things I use the half round for, the first one is when I'm forging tips into my blade. So like with my Damascus blades, I will, so imagine your bar is rectangular shaped out of the forge and under the hammer, and you want to forge down one side of it. That's where this half round comes in handy, just like this. And it gives you a flat surface for your hammer to strike. It's rounded, but the hammer doesn't know that. And so it drives down on the half round while giving you that angle you need to start forging the tip into your Damascus blade. And I don't forge in the entire tip with the half round, but it does most of the work. I would say it does probably 70% of forging in the tip on my Damascus blades. And then I finish forging them in by hand. So the other thing it does is flipping it upside down. This is really great for if you're forging a full tang knife and with spine up and edge down on the knife, you're holding it like this. It's got like a scoop in the handle, a slight indentation, and this works great for forging in that indentation in the handle of your knife. You could also use it like as a flatter for flattening certain areas of the piece that you're working without having to employ the entire width and length of the die of your hammer. So really, really handy tool there. The tiny, it's not a half round, it's more like a 3/4 round. I use this for a couple of different purposes. The main one is, once again, on a full tang knife, you've got the indentation for the main part of your hand. If you want a finger well between that first large indentation and the blade, you want a little finger well, this will forge that finger well in extremely well. The other thing that I use this for is when I'm forging chef's knives, and you imagine that I forged the blade, nice wide blade, right, for a chef's knife, and then I need to start drawing out the tang. And if you've paid attention, most of your hidden tang, kind of standard like EDC and hunting knives, the tang comes out of the center of the blade, but on a chef's knife, it comes out the top of the blade. I guess that's the best way of saying it. It's like the spine extends out, creating the tang. So in order to isolate that piece of steel, you flip the chef's knife edge up, spine down on the die, and you would actually flip this over so that the flat side is down and you start forging that down. Kind of gets your tang isolated a little bit. And that takes us right into the next hot work tool, which I found extremely helpful forging chef's knives. And I'm just going to call this the T hot work tool. It kind of looks like a capital T. And I use this for finishing out, driving that material towards the spine of the blade on the chef's knife in order to be able to start stretching that tang out. So this pushes your tang steel all the way up to the spine and just a super helpful hot work tool as well. So then the final one is the double round. I don't use this one very much because I've not made much in the way of integrals. I've made a few. This basically just enables you to, you stick your steel between the two rounds and stick the whole deal under the power hammer dies, and it enables you to isolate off of your round stock bar that you're using for your integral. Allows you to isolate that piece of steel that you're going to use for for drawing out the blade or for the tang. So once again, I don't use this as much, but those are the main hot work tools that I use. You can use them under a power hammer or a hydraulic forging press. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments below.